We are keeping our diaries free. There's a chilling thought, and that is, of course, from the former royals known as Harry and Meghan. But what are they keeping their diaries free for? Hi, good morning, Neil Shawnee here. Once again, in the very heart of Yorkshire, behind me is an exquisite school. Now, what I like about this particular school is it's late 19th century, and it's really unaltered. It's now sort of some kind of, print works or something like that. You never truly know what's inside these buildings anymore. But when you look at it, you could have imagined, of course, all of those children for all of those decades running around, learning, of course, people being strict, headmasters with canes, mortarboards, not like today, eh? But of course the woke society wouldn't have liked this type of school, would they? But I think when you look at it, it obviously turned out some incredible people, particularly in this part of Yorkshire. But back as ever to your breaking royal story of the day. Now, Our Gracious Majesty the Queen, of course, delighted so many people, millions in fact around the world, not just here in the United Kingdom, of course Scotland, Wales, Ireland and across the Commonwealth. Also in places like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Norway, Brazil, Japan. We could go on. I have to thank you so much for all your kind messages, like me, who enjoyed, of course, Our Gracious Majesty the Queen's speech. It truly was wonderful. And yes, didn't she look lovely in that sort of, what's it called, girls? Wine-coloured dress, I think, isn't it? Wine, I think. Anyway, she looked wonderful. But here, of course, is where she alluded to looking forward, a bit of self-promotion from Her Majesty the Queen, because she said within 6 weeks' time her Platinum Jubilee celebrations would kick off. Well, that, of course, has alerted two other former royals over in the United States. And according to a very good source, their message is this. Yes, it appears that the former royals are clearing their diary. Indeed. And this is, of course, for when the major celebrations of the wonderful Platinum Jubilee really kick off on the 6th month of 2022. That's June, of course. Now, according to very good sources and palace courtiers, they tell me that they've received word, get this, from Harry and Meghan, that they are going to keep their diaries free, should, of course, they be called upon. Now, I'm sure that Her Gracious Majesty the Queen would have enough people helping serving the teas and possibly clearing up at Windsor Great Park, who knows? And you can only imagine what on earth they could possibly offer. And I don't mean that in a cruel way, but, you know, it's going to be very difficult for Her Majesty the Queen and, of course, His Royal Highness Prince Charles and Princess Anne. Wouldn't fancy asking her about coming over, would you? But on a more serious note, what could they offer? And really, that would take a lot of focus away from one person that it truly should be focused on. And that is, of course, Our Majesty the Queen. Now, what I'm suspecting will happen is that there would be some kind of banquet, perhaps something that's a little bit low-key, that they possibly could get invited to. But once they find out, of course, that event, would Harry and Meghan, as they're now known, wish to partake in something that they consider less than stellar? What we do know is, as I say, their diaries are remaining free. Now, let me know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. I could only imagine. But if, like me, you think that Her Majesty the Queen is far too gracious not to extend the hand of friendliness, then of course, as I say, I think there could be something offered. But right now, truly, no one knows quite what. Neil Shawn in the heart of Yorkshire.